49ers quarterback Brock Purdy recently went on the Built for More podcast, and it's the first time we've heard him talk really, at least this in depth, since the end of the season. So it was really great to hear kind of his thought process on a couple different things. And he said he said a lot of really good things, which is why I'm going to tell you to go click the link in the description, go watch the whole interview. It's definitely worth it. But I'm going to pull two particular clips I want to talk about. One about Ricky Pearsall and why I do believe, based on hearing this, that connection next year is going to be electric. And he talks about Mac Jones. Yes, Mac Jones signed to be the backup quarterback. You got Mike Florio out here saying, oh, Mac Jones is coming in to take Brock Purdy's job. Well, could things get awkward? Maybe. But when you listen to Brock talk about Mac Jones, I think we're going to be okay. Just take a listen. We're going to listen to the Ricky Pearsall clip first, and then I'll show you what he said about Mac Jones. Here's Brock Purdy on Ricky and the connection that they're going to have, or at least what I think the connection is going to look like after this clip. Take a listen right here.
That whole team thing is a big deal, right? Like you just said, 40% of the time you really can't see.
Yep.
So there's a high level of trust that guy is going to be exactly where he is going to be. Because if he's not, nobody's going to talk about him.
100%.
They're going to talk about your interception, right? Talk about how tough it is to develop that and what that actually looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's reps on reps on reps, practice day in and day out, off-season times where you're getting together with your receivers and then going out in the field and running it over and over and over again, like during the season. That's why I love this rookie last year, Ricky Pearsall, receiver from Florida. Like this dude went through so much adversity early on, but anytime he was out in the field with us at practice, he'd come up to me and just wouldn't shut up. Brock, dude, I'm going to take this many steps here, break out. You can trust me on the side. But I love that. For me, it's, dude, in the heat of the moment, I need a guy that I can trust. And this guy wants to get on the same page with me. So after practice, he's running routes, I'm throwing to him, and then in the game, boom, we're hitting it on third down and converting. Like, that's what it takes, time and time again. And that was just a little example, but outside of that, like the offensive lineman guys up front, like it's getting in the huddle, not stuttering and acting afraid, but like ripping off plays, looking them in the eye, being confident, rep after rep after rep, so that in the heat of the battle, man, you can get it done.
Imagine that trust. I think about that all the time. Like there's how many pounds in the front seven of a defense coming at you?
Yeah.
You think you've identified the right protection? Like maybe they may be +1 over there. Like I'm relying on my guy to beat their guy. If not, that 295 pounds is coming after me, and I've got to throw a ball in the right spot that I can't quite see. Yep. It's a pretty hard game.
So part of the context of what Brock is saying, I didn't show the full clip. He was talking about how when he's playing quarterback and he's 6 foot and he's standing behind all the offensive linemen who are 6'4" and above, he can only see he said he can only see 60%. Of what's out there. So there's 40% where he's kind of got to do a little guesswork. Like he's got to anticipate where the defense is. And that's why processing is such a premium, is because when you're trying to work through so much trash and garbage of, bodies flying all over the place, you have to be so in tune with your wide receivers. You have to know exactly where they're going to be so you can put the ball exactly where you anticipate them to be. And so when you look at Brock Purdy and you look at what he had to say about Ricky Pearsall, what he said is he loves the kid because he won't shut up. Basically, he's in his ear constantly telling him, this is where we're going to be. This is the route. I'm going to take these many. And he's like, I love that. I love that he is building that rapport and trust. And especially for a quarterback like Brock, who's such a high processor, throws with anticipation, it's so huge. And I'll even show you an example of kind of that situation developing at the end of last year. One of my favorite throws from Brock Purdy to Ricky Pearsall was this anticipation throw. If you look at the ball coming out, Ricky isn't officially out of his break. So Brock is throwing to a spot expecting Ricky Pearsall to be there. And this is what the throw looked like. And this is what he's talking about. See how the pocket's closing in on him. He has to let that ball go. And he throws it before Ricky even comes out of the break. And you can see that's where Ricky makes the phenomenal one-handed catch. And this is kind of what he's talking about. This is the type of rapport that in practice leads to these types of reps in games. So that's why I think, man, if you're a fantasy player, if you play Dynasty, I actually just drafted Ricky Pearsall in a startup league that I'm doing with my son. And I'm very happy about it. I got him as like my 5th wide receiver. So I think that connection is going to be a big, big one next year. But I also want to talk about what he had to say about Mac Jones, because I think we saw the Mac Jones signing. You know, there's a bunch of different ranges of outcomes that can come from it. But I think when you listen to Brock and the way he speaks about Mac, I feel much better about this situation. So listen to what Brock had to say about Mac Jones right here.
Wait, Mac Jones said he hosted you on an Alabama visit. Is that true?
Yeah. So, and then that was one of the other visits. And the whole offer thing there was weird. They were like, yeah, come here, you got an offer. And then at the end, they're like, I don't know if we have another spot. Like, it was just weird. But regardless, I wanted Iowa State at the end of it. I just, growing up, my dad and my brother were big Alabama fans. So we're like, all right, let's just go take this visit. And sure enough, Mac Jones was my host. And,
That's hysterical.
He took us around and stuff. And yeah, it's just
I
crazy,
would
full
want Mac
circle.
as a host.
Dude, yeah, he's hilarious. Mac
I'm telling
is
you,
the
Joby,
man.
when he walks into training, whole different. Like
Really?
it's you. Oh, you're going to be playing with him now.
Yeah.
They're together now. I mean,
He's
one of the
hilarious, dude.
funniest human beings.
Well,
we
Isn't
got.
that
on.
crazy? And
Yeah.
it's so weird how college to the NFL. It's so crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Mac's a dude.
Right?
Mac's a dude.
Yeah, you
But
can sling it.
Mac can spin it. Yeah. Don't let those people on the internet fool you about Mac Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a baller.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's funny, though, because we'll be like, throwing routes on there or whatever, like off-season stuff, training. And he's just got this good, big personality. And he's just like, we'll sometimes get a little bored. And then he'll go out in front of the receiver and start playing DB and like try to guard him. I'm like, dude, I love this guy. He's hilarious.
So in that Mac Jones interview that we saw from the 49ers, he mentioned, oh, yeah, me and Brock have experience together because I actually hosted him on his recruiting trip to Alabama. Brock talked about that in the clip. But also on top of that, they trained together in the offseason in Florida. I had mentioned that when they had signed Brock Purdy, or they had mentioned that when they signed Mac Jones. And I was like, well, these two definitely have somewhat of a working relationship together. And you kind of get a bit of an insight. Brock loves Mac. Like you heard it. He's like, oh, I love that guy. He's hilarious. So I think this is a good thing. I really do. I'm like, hearing Brock's perspective of Mac makes me feel much better about this quarterback room, meaning like these guys already know each other. They already understand how each other work. They have a history going back to when Brock was coming out of high school to they train in the offseason as NFL quarterbacks, and now they're teammates. They're backing each other up. So I feel much better about that situation. I have a hard time believing that would turn toxic in any situation, considering those guys already have a relationship. So I think that's cool. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about both the Ricky Pearsall and Mac Jones thing. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, I'm going to link the clip, the whole interview. It's a must watch. Go watch it if you're a 49er fan or just a fan of Brock Purdy. It's great. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.